The voice of the Zoom lady haunts me in my I want to know how much money she made, Like I want to know.
Seriously.
She was in a professional recording studio and was like, sorry, this is what keeps Bailey up at night. But hello and welcome to another episode of Ambassadcast, which is our ambassador run podcast. This is our summer edition countdown to day one. We are just wanting to help you guys feel equipped and excited to be a Biola student, to be on campus again. And because I know we're all excited to be back on campus again. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. We are just so excited. So we just want to talk about the theme is just really how to get involved at Biola. So before we go any further and before I start asking questions, I want us all to introduce ourselves. But you guys know me. I'm your host, Bailey Captain. It's crazy because when we started doing these, I was a sophomore and now I'm going into my senior year at Biola. I am a cinema and media arts major with a minor in business administration. And I'm from Costa Mesa, California, so I'm only about a good 30 to 40-minute drive from Biola. But now I will have my friends introduce themselves.
Yeah, so I am Nathan. I currently am renting a house in La Mirada, so I'm 5 minutes away, which is a blessing. Um, Very interesting season for me. I am a very recent alumni, fresh out of the undergrad program. So weird to say, very surreal. Don't feel like I am nearly as old enough yet to be able to say that. But yeah, studied psychology. Love Biola, been a part of a couple of stuff that we'll talk about later.
Hi, guys. My name's Brittany. I am a current junior. I'm originally from San Diego, and I'm actually living in Orange now. So kind of similar to Nathan, I'm renting a house. So it's kind of weird because now I don't say I'm from San Diego, but now I can say I'm from Orange. So that's like 15 minutes from campus. But yeah, I'm a business marketing major, which has been crazy in these last few seasons just because that was something that I had just kind of decided in the last semester. But yeah, that's what I'm up to right now.
Welcome to the Orange County bubble, my friends. So yeah, speaking of where we're from, I guess my first question is, what were we involved in high school and like did that translate into college? That's something I've been thinking about a lot. For me, I just think about like my brand on like who I was in high school, and I was like the hardcore ASB or student government, whatever you want to call it. That was me, like the person on the floor in the pep rallies, helping put up posters and decorations. Like I loved it. We even had like different levels. So, like I was definitely on the level where I had to like do a campaign, give out treat, all that. I did that for so long. And it was super fun. Like all my best friends did it. And I was really in charge of like the social media account, designing t-shirts and posters, and it was super, and I did like tech for chapel. Like it was just really fun, and I would say that translated very well into college in my current position. So it's weird. So I was obviously serving my current student body when I was in student government. That's kind of how the nature of it. But now I get to serve prospective students, but I get to make videos just like I did when I was in high school. I get to run social media accounts and that kind of stuff. And now I get paid for it. That's what's amazing. I did all that for free in high. I think about how many free hours of labor I did in student government. But you know what? It taught me a lot. It got me to film school. It got me to where I am. That was something that transferred really well. It looks a little different. Like we do have student government on campus, but I just heard about the ambassador program and I was super attracted to it. And I still get to do something that I love, as a job. Another thing that I was also involved in was sports. I did soccer. I played soccer my whole life, and so I played it in school. I'm a proud JV for 4 years, girl. I was captain my last 2 years, but rode that junior varsity level. I think I played like 3 varsity games my senior year. But Bailey, yes, we have girls soccer on campus. Bailey is not at that level, of performance. So what I did is that we do have intramurals. I'm a big intramurals fan. So that's kind of how that translated into college, is that I did soccer intramurals. I even did volleyball intramurals, but it kind of gave me my like team sport need and like that hole in my heart. So I love intramurals. I can't wait to do them again this next semester. So yeah, I would say so. did student government, turned into ambassador, and then playing soccer just turned into doing intramural. So I would say those things transferred really well. But Nathan, tell me all about it. Tell me all about the things.
Oh, absolutely. I just want to interject first. It would be great next semester if you were going to lead some intramurals because it's going to be the return of Bailey the captain.
Wow, I've never heard that joke before, ever in my
Really?
life.
I thought that
Never.
was going to be an old one. Okay, cool. Well, anyways, going back to me, looking back, I feel so old now that I can think of
You're
high
such an
school and
old
be like,
man. High school was
I,
like 10 years ago, right?
oh goodness, oh something like that. But oh gosh,
Wait,
like
didn't
I'm,
we graduate high school the same year?
yeah, probably. Oh goodness. All right. Reminiscing aside, some things I did do in high school. I was part of choir as an elective for 3 years. I am a big passionate person on singing. Singing is a beautiful gift of God. Um, I also was the founder of a Bible club in my high school, which was a very great time, very stretching time, a lot of stress with that sometimes because you always had to have something ready. And so those are kind of my two primary, I guess, extracurriculars I can think of. Other than that, um, high school was just a very formative year to get out of my shell. I was actually a timid person, I would say, till middle school. And high school is where, believe it or not, I had God do a lot of working in me to where I became the social butterfly that I am now. And so, translating all of that into college, I didn't really take too much of a leadership position um, in anything really. I kind of just wanted to enjoy what people have cultivated and made. And so that looks like going into Glee Club, which was super fun. A lot more theatrics than I
So
thought.
wait, did you watch Glee? I just have to know.
Okay, so maybe this makes me a fake Glee Club member, but I haven't watched a lot. Like I haven't watched as much as you probably
Bailey's
should.
offended.
I'm so offended.
I
My
like
theater
Glee.
kid in me is so
I like the
offended.
singers, but exposing myself. So yes, I have the passion in singing though. So hopefully that makes me genuine enough. But we had theatrics in Glee Club, which I wasn't expecting. I thought it was just like people came to sing, but we like had performances, and it was the first time I had a lot more respect for theater majors and people who are in theater because we had to quick change for one of our performances like so fast. Like you finished your number and then you had like 2 minutes to like take off like all the clothes that you can without like messing up and then trying to prepare yourself for the next song. So that was fun. um Concerning a lot of other things kind of with the ambassador job, I actually have never had a job prior to this job, and so um prayed about it and I was like, I don't really know, I want a Biola's on campus job. And again, social butterfly, kind of spreading the wings, wanting to figure out what I can do, especially as a psychology major with people. And then the ambassador program came up, and I was like, wait, this is like literally everything I want in a job. And so I feel like my social skills that I've grown have definitely translated well into the ambassador program because the people that we work with are just amazing. And then also, prospective students are just so fun to interact with, whether you are getting someone from all the way from like Hawaii or you're just getting like a local like Orange County, LA County person. So yeah, I think that's everything on the top of my brain. But that's my journey. So yeah.
Wait, I think I might be frozen. Am I back?
I can hear you, but your screen is. Oh wait, you're back. You're good. You're
Am
good.
I back? Okay. I was like, no, I can't hear anyone. Okay. We love Zoom life and Wi-Fi, and I love getting a little notification that your internet is unstable. It's like, thank you. That's really
Oh,
cool
it's
for me.
great.
Like, way to kick me when I'm down. Like,
Exactly. I am definitely not going to miss these days. But Nathan, I didn't hear the end of yours. So were you all good?
Yes, we finished.
Okay.
We jazzed hand it.
Okay.
We're ready to go.
Okay, good. So I have a pretty similar story to Nathan and Bailey. I was a part of ASB in high school, but my school had kind of two sides of it. So they had our ambassadors, so the people that were like giving tours, things like that, and then the other side that was more like planning and leading events and doing kind of. We used to have this like after school little cart thing where we used to sell snacks oh my goodness, my word, sell snacks to people. I don't know why that was so hard to say. But it was such a hit, and we would make so much money for ASB and just that program because so many people would want to buy like top ramen after school, or like a pack of Skittles and things like that. So I was actually a part of planning and leading that. So I was kind of in like the fundraising, raising money side of ASB, which definitely is different than where I ended up in college, because I actually ended up more on the ambassador, like giving tour side, which is definitely something I was always in. Oh my goodness, my words are just not working today. That I was always interested in high school, but it was such a small group of people that did it, that I don't really know what was preventing me from doing that in high school, but just never really got into it, just because I was kind of in charge and leading this whole other side of our ASB program. So then once I came into college, I was actually a tour guide my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, I switched to an event position for prospective students. So I'm actually running and leading the events that we host for our prospective students. So that translated really well from just my whole ASB experience in high school, because the whole point of my fundraising and leading was so that we could put on these events for incoming students, students wanting to tour the school, and also just our current students. So I would say that it translated pretty well, but also I think that I kind of changed positions throughout that time. And then in college, kind of got to try out a new side of it that I hadn't really explored before. Kind of, again, like Nathan was saying, I was a pretty shy person until like the middle school, high school period. Like there were people in middle school that were like, do you talk? And I was like, yeah, like I talk, you just need to get to know me first. Like I was just one of those students that was really hard to get to know until people knew me, which is a little bit difficult because how do people know you? And like, doesn't really make a lot of sense. But I think going into college, I was kind of just, I was like, no, like this is not going to be me. Like I'm going to branch out of my comfort zone. I'm going to go and I'm going to make a lot of friends. And honestly, that was kind of combated with work, just because there was a huge community of people in that. And so I think that was kind of the path that I followed. So I think my main goal and the things that I was trying to get involved in were just making a bigger community. And so I think if anything, I kind of followed the people versus the things that I was, I don't know, like the things that I was most interested in. Like I think that I was more searching for that community versus like, oh, I'm gonna start my own club, or I'm gonna pursue this passion. I was like, no, like let's try and make a big community and then see what can happen outside of that. So yeah, I think that was probably the biggest part of it. Is I was trying new things just because in high school I had kind of done that all 4 years, so I wanted to try a different side of it. But it also translated pretty well.
Right. Also,
Yeah.
I didn't know that high schools had tour guides.
Me either. I
Yes.
was gonna say my high school did
Yes.
not. Like I think I gave like one tour in ASB, but it was like once a year we would have like
Yeah.
some parents come, and I had
Yeah.
no official training whatsoever.
Yeah, we used to have all kinds of people. We used to have foreign exchange
Wow.
students come. We used to have people from like Germany and China.
Oh, wow.
And
San
we also,
Diego
I
is
went
where
to
it's at, apparently.
yeah. I went to a charter school. So that's the other thing, is that it was
Right.
kind of like I don't know if it's a world known school, but it's definitely like a nationally known school,
Right.
just because they were kind of the people that, they were one of the schools that kind of started this whole new branch of charter schools. And so everyone was super interested in like this new style of learning because we were a project-based school. And so I think that brought a lot of people from different places of just wanting to see how this style translated into actual learning, just because it's so different than a public school education. So that was part of the reason that we had so many people coming for tour guides and just all of that. And we had a lot of training for our tour guides and all of that. But again, I wasn't a part of that during my time, but I had a lot of friends in that little realm. So then it worked out really well when I was in college, because I was like, this is awesome. Like now I get to be a part of this.
That's awesome.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And to kind of sum it up, I have one last question is, so what do each of us kind of recommend for students like wanting to get involved? And I think I've talked about this a lot in my time in admissions, but like, I think there's this kind of battle of like wanting to like be this different person in college and like let go of high school. I personally really liked high school. I think of course like high school does drag sometimes and it can suck, but at the same time like I'm still best friends like with my same three best friends that I graduated with, and we all went to different colleges. Um but I also want to say the reason you like liked the things in high school is because you liked them, and that's totally okay. Like I also like was like the yearbook photographer, and so like I still love taking photos, and like I still like those things for a reason. And I think in such a transition of change of like from high school to college, I think it's really beneficial to kind of stick to those things you like and like kind of stick
Yeah.
to what you know, because it's still gonna look different. Even if I did ASB, like student government, again in college, it would look different. So my biggest advice is think about what you did enjoy or like in high school, and then see what options there are at Biola. Maybe it looks a little different, but like there's still, I think, some things you can enjoy. We have so many clubs too. There's always a club fair every semester where you can get involved in things. I think even on campus jobs are super great because you get connected to the community. We are all different majors and different years, and we still are friends, you know? So like I think
Mhm.
I really, really recommend to all my prospective students, like look for on campus jobs, because sometimes I can't believe that we get paid to do what we do. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my advice. But Nathan, what advice, yeah, do you have for students wanting to get involved?
Yeah, for sure. I think that you gave such a great shout out to a lot of great resources. I would also say, to add on to that list, do not be afraid of study buddies. Know that classes are also such a great way to get to know someone, because what better way to bond sometimes than suffering through 3 hours of studying for a test that you
Yeah.
have the next day. And so,
Amen.
um, honestly, take advantage of that. And so I think my biggest advice that I can give is do not underestimate the power of high. It's a very weird thing, but I feel like since Bailey gave a good overview, know that at least for me, coming from a shy background, like don't feel afraid in whatever community or like intramural or sports club that you do. So just say hi, introduce yourself,
Yeah.
because so many conversations can stem from that. And even if you're not in a community building setting, saying hi to people can lead to so many different things where people will mention about clubs or mention about passions. And it's like, oh, is there something that I can do? Because I'm interested in that as well. And so I would say, don't be afraid to say hi. And don't feel afraid to, again, let conversations flow if you don't know where
Yeah.
you want to go. Because I'm someone who sometimes is a little too controlly over my conversations. And I'm like, now we should talk about this. And like, now we should segue that into this. And sometimes it's just like, just let it happen. Conversations are sometimes the most beautiful, chaotic things you can have on your daily basis. So I think that is more of like, I guess, a skill practical, but that's kind of my biggest advice.
Yeah. No, I would definitely say that branching out of that, that it's also important to remember that people want you guys on campus. We're excited to have you guys on campus, and the other freshmen are all in the same position. Like I think that I kind of had this idea going in, like, oh, this is scary. Like, what if people don't want to talk to me? Like, what if I go up to what if I go up to someone and they don't want to have a conversation? And it's like, no, like we are all so excited to have you guys on campus and to get to know you, and like even just to have new people and new faces in my classes. Like I get so excited. I'm like, oh, like I
Mhm.
want to meet all these people and I want to get to know them well. And so I think just remembering that of like people want to get to know you, and so giving them the opportunity to get to know you, I think, is a huge thing. And I think that I would have really loved to hear that going in of like, okay, like I'm going into this place where like people want to love on me and people want to know my story.
Mhm.
I think that that would have been a huge benefit for me. And even kind of like Bailey and Nathan were saying, like work is a great place to get to know a lot of people from a lot of different places. Because I don't think that if I wasn't on this team, this ambassador team that we have, I don't think I would know half the people that are on our team, just because we're all different majors, different grades, kind of all over the place on campus. So I think working on campus, like Bailey was saying, is just a great place to get to meet different faces and just get involved in those ways. But also, kind of again, going back to what Nathan was saying in the beginning, of just taking advantage of the community spaces that are already cultivated. in the beginning of the clubs that we have and just kind of the spaces that we already have that have that strong community, like get plugged into those first and get to know the people that are on campus and that have created these spaces already. I think that that's also a really good piece of advice, because I think going in, I also kind of had this idea of like, oh, like I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna lead this, or I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna be this rising person. I'm gonna start all these things, but maybe just taking the first semester to kind of get plugged into the things that we have and join the intramural and get to kind of be a part of the groups and the clubs that we have right now. But yeah, I think that those would be my 2 pieces of advice.
No, that's so great, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me and recording this episode. We hope you guys are able to take something from us. We'll be recording more episodes, so always let us know if you guys want to hear about something specific. But yeah, we hope you guys have an amazing summer. We are so excited to have you guys on campus. So make sure to come say hi to us if you see us. We'll be around, maybe on a tour or a golf cart, who knows. But thank you guys so much and have a great summer. Bye.
Bye, guys.